For most of her life, Doris Day was celebrated as Hollywood's brightest smile, a woman who seemed to embody joy, optimism, and perfection. Yet behind that luminous image lived a story shaped by fear, loss, resilience, and carefully guarded silence. Born Doris Marianne Kappelhoff on April 3, 1922, in Cincinnati, Ohio, she grew up in a modest working-class home marked by her parents' painful divorce, finding escape first through dance and then, after a devastating train accident at 14 nearly ended her dreams, through music that carried her through months of recovery. Her voice soon became her lifeline, leading to discovery by bandleader Barney Rapp, the creation of the name Doris Day, and her breakthrough with Les Brown's band, where she overcame crippling stage fright and personal tragedy to record songs that defined a generation, including the immortal Sentimental Journey. From there, her rise was swift but never easy. She fought for creative control, delivered iconic performances like It's Magic and Secret Love, and transitioned almost accidentally into film stardom with Romance on the High Seas, eventually becoming America's most reliable box office star through the 1950s and early 1960s with films like Pillow Talk and Love Me or Leave Me that proved she was far more than a cheerful songbird. Yet behind the scenes, Doris endured profound darkness, beginning with an abusive first marriage at just 17 that nearly cost her life and her unborn child, followed by emotional abandonment in her second marriage and devastating financial betrayal in her third, when her husband secretly squandered her fortune and left her burdened with debt and a television contract she never wanted. Forced to smile through exhaustion and grief on the Doris Day Show, she eventually fought back legally, but the damage pushed her away from the spotlight forever. Retreating into privacy, she devoted herself to animal welfare, founding what became the Doris Day Animal Foundation, launching World Spay Day, and quietly changing lives around the world far from Hollywood's glare. In her later years, she returned briefly to music with the deeply personal album My Heart, honoring her late son Terry, whose death in 2004 marked another turning point that deepened her isolation. After Doris's passing in 2019 at age 97, a final heartbreak surfaced when her grandson Ryan revealed they had been estranged for 14 years, a rift clouded by grief, misunderstandings, and disputed accounts of who tried to reconnect and who stood in the way. In the end, Doris Day chose a small, quiet life on her Carmel ranch, surrounded by animals rather than applause, leaving behind not just the image of Hollywood's happiest face, but the truth of a woman who survived unimaginable pain, protected her heart through silence, and transformed suffering into compassion, even as parts of her own family story remained unresolved to the very end.